This week's parsha is Parshas Vayechi, and the parsha talks about where Yaakov gathers his sons and he blesses them. And in the blessings, we see a lot of the blessings that he blesses his children have to do with physical wealth, material wealth. In the Baal Shem HaKadosh, the Baal Shem Tov teaches on this week's parsha, related to this week's parsha, the teaching like this. The Baal Shem Tov asks a question. It's not really a question. Shemati, one of the students that I heard it from my master, from a teacher, that there are certain people that like certain foods and don't like other foods. There's certain people that are attracted to certain people, certain types of people, and there's certain people attracted to other types of people. Extended in all issues of life. Certain people are attracted to certain types of music, and others are attracted to other types of music, or some people are not connected to any types of music. We see that there's different types of people. Some people like savory food, some sweet, some spicy. Every person is connected to something very particular. And the same thing also with objects in their lives. Certain people like these types of objects, these types of objects. Some people don't like any objects. Everyone has a different type of relationship to the things that are going on in their lives. This is all the stuff of life. So the Baal Shem Tov teaches like this, that the relationship between a person and the things, the stuff in a person's life is very deep. There's a deep relationship between who the person is and the things that they have in their life. So when we think about stuff in our life, let's say it's a watch, you own a watch. What is the relationship between you and this watch that you own? So some of the earlier commentators, for example, and some of the great thinkers, for example, the Maharal, right? That from the concept of Yish Shalom Midas, we find that a person severs his ties to an object even if he's not conscious and not aware of it. This suggests that there is no inherent spiritual relationship between a person and the objects that they have in life, the car that they drive, the house that they live in, the objects that are in their house. The clothes that they wear, there's no inherent relationship. However, in the teachings of the Ari, of the Holy Arizal, the Arizal revealed that everything in this world has netzoitzes, has sparks, and these sparks are connected to us. And the reason why a certain person is attracted and connected to certain types of food is because the sparks, the divine sparks that came about and is present in these particular foods is connected to their soul. And the reason why a person is connected and attracted to this type of music or these type of objects is because this person has a special soul connection between himself, his own elevation of his own soul, his own neshama, and the sparks, the netzoitzes that exist within these objects. So there is an inherent connection between us and the things and the stuff that is in our lives. And we use a certain thing, let's say it's a watch. The reason why we're using it and we're attracted to this watch because there's a spark that resonates with our spark, with our individual energy, our individual soul. And we have a particular purpose in elevating that watch or that particular food or that music. The Baal Shem teaches something that's even deeper than that. The Baal Shem Tov teaches, and this is sometimes brought down in the name of the Baal Shem Tov based on a passage that we have in the Gemara, the Gemara Bava Kama says. His friend, Ki'ilu goizel's nafshi, as if he stole his own soul, as if he stole the soul. When you steal something from somebody else, it's like you're stealing their soul. So the Baal Shem teaches that what this means is not only does objects in our life have sparks that are connected to our soul, but the objects in our life is an extension of our soul. Our soul extends into our body, permeates our body, and on a deeper level, not only does it extend and permeate our entire body, but it permeates entire space. All the objects that we have in our life is not only a spark that's connected to our soul, but it's an extension of our soul in those objects. Which means, let's understand what this means. This means that things in our life, the objects in our life, whether the foods we eat, the clothes we wear, the house we live in, the car we drive, the objects in our life is not just a spark that we have to elevate, it's connected to us, but in a way it is part of us. Just like we have arms and we have legs, and that's part of who we are. The same thing also, the objects that we have in our life, for the time period that they're in our life, is an extension of our own soul into those objects. And conceptually and spiritually, this is a very fascinating way and a very important way of actually to transform our way of thinking about the things that happen to us. Most times people think when something happens to them, let's say they lose an object, or they receive an object, they receive a raise, they don't receive a raise. Things happen to their life that's connected to objects in their life. They had a good meal, they didn't have such a good meal, they were presented with this, they were presented with other thing. Normally a person thinks, at least from the paradigm, even according to the Ari, the person thinks that means that the reason why I had this thing is because I had to receive that thing, this object, and I have to elevate the spark within that object. Comes along the Baal Shem Tov and says that the objects that we have in our life is not something, the things that happen to our life is not something that's happening to us, but is part of us. And that's a very important distinction. The things that happen to us in our lives is not something that's happening to us. We're here and those things are happening to us, but it's actually part of us. Whatever happens in a person's life is part of you. It's part of your narrative, part of your story, part of your soul life in this world is to have these objects and these events happening to you and those other events occurring. This is part of who you are. This is to live from a place of yichud. This is to live from a place of unity. To understand that whatever happens to us is not happening to us, but is part of us. So we have to accept it, we have to integrate it, and we have to find the wisdom and the smarts how to elevate it, how to connect with it in a holy way and in a proper way, and to use it in the most productive way. So it's not something that happens to us, but it's part of us. And that's the highest level of yichud, when the recognition that all the things, the foods you eat, the clothes you wear, the house you live in, is an extension of your own soul. It's part of your own narrative. It's not happening to you, but it is of you.